A local epidemiologist is among 270 public health specialists and doctors who are calling out music streaming platform Spotify and its most successful podcaster for spreading COVID-19 vaccine misinformation. Styling herself as Dr. Cat on social media, UIC epidemiologist Katrine Wallace has made it her mission to combat potentially deadly fallacies about COVID-19 vaccines. Here's a little of Wallace in action on TikTok.
Let's go!
And joining us now is Katrine Wallace, who has a PhD in epidemiology. Dr. Cat, thank you for joining us. As we mentioned, you were one of 270 doctors, public health professionals to send an open letter to Spotify about Joe Rogan's podcast and what he and his guests have been saying about the vaccine. What might people hear on the Rogan podcast that concerns you?
We were very concerned about some of the misinformation that was being spread on his large platform. Some examples would be that young people should not get vaccinated, or that the vaccines cause toxic spike proteins that cause organ damage. Also advocating for the use of ivermectin despite CDC and FDA warnings against its use. So none of those things are good to be having on a platform streaming to 11 million subscribers.
So Joe Rogan, he posted a message on social media yesterday addressing this controversy. Here's a little bit of what he said.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them. If there's anything that I've done that I could do better is have more experts with differing opinions right after I have the controversial ones. Again, I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial.
Dr. Cat, Rogan said that he's open to doing more mainstream experts, to booking them on his show, in addition to some of the controversial guests. Is that enough in your eyes?
See, when you have misinformation on a platform of that size, it causes a false balance where it looks like there's two sides to the scientific data, when in actuality, there really is not. The overwhelming evidence is that the vaccines are safe and effective, and they're saving lives during a pandemic. And we're in a global health emergency. So Spotify really needs to they have a responsibility to the public not to make this problem any worse.
So Spotify, taking a lot of criticism here. Neil Young and Joni Mitchell ordering the company to drop their music from the streaming platform. Their argument being that they're just a platform and they don't want to be in the business of censoring content. What's your response when they make that argument?
Well, just what I said is that when you have a large platform like that was letting information run unchecked, like I was saying at the beginning, that the vaccine causes toxic spike proteins that cause organ damage. We know after billions of people have taken the vaccine that that's not happening. So that is absolutely misinformation and should not be on a platform like that, on any platform. And if you promote misinformation like that on a large platform, I believe there should be some kind of strikes or something that happens against your account. Like they did, YouTube did this when Dan Bongino from Fox, a Fox News anchor, was talking about how masks didn't work. They gave him a warning, and then he kept doing it, and now he's lost his platform. And I'm not saying I'm advocating for people to lose their platform or that I'm advocating for censorship, but people need to understand there's a difference between opinions and things that we absolutely have data to support, and the science is settled on that. So the science is not an opinion. There are things that we absolutely know are true, and some of these things are just not opinions.
Now, Spotify's CEO, they said in a statement, quote, "We know we have a critical role to play in supporting creator expression while balancing it with the safety of our users. In that role, it is important to me that we don't take on the position of being content censor." The company also promises they'll add content advisories and direct folks to their COVID-19 hub so they can get some credible information. But you've been waging war on vaccine misinformation for quite some time on TikTok. Tell us about that.
Yes, and I believe that content advisory statement is kind of more spectacle than substance. And it was it sort of adds to the false balance problem, right? Because they're just going to slap that label on anything that has COVID-19, even if it's from the WHO or something, versus something that's misinformation. So it doesn't really solve the problem. It's sort of just something that they're saying that they're doing, but it really isn't doing much. But yes, I've been working, fighting misinformation on social media. I started at the beginning of the pandemic, kind of downloaded TikTok for the same reason everybody else did. I was bored during the lockdown and I just wanted to have some entertainment. And in addition to seeing videos of people's dogs and cooking videos, I was also unfortunately seeing a lot of COVID-19 misinformation. So as an epidemiologist who understands the data, I decided to start making my own videos so I could be kind of a liaison between the scientific literature and lay people, because there seemed to be a lot of misinformation and confusion about what was real and what was fake news or misinformation.
And before we let you go, Dr. Kat, I was looking at your recent TikTok where obviously you're getting some responses from fans of Joe Rogan, upset with your criticism. Briefly, do you worry about being a high-profile critic of his? How's that affecting you?
I don't, because actually I feel like I know what I'm doing is right because I have the data and the evidence on my side, and I'm doing what I can for public health. And quite frankly, this is what I trained for, to advocate for public health.
Okay. Dr. Kat, be safe out there, and thank you for joining us.